Honkai Star Rail is cooked. So the Honkai Star Rail 3.2 stream just released, and in my opinion, it was very disappointing. So first of all, I will acknowledge that, yeah, we did get 30 pulls and we did get a free Ronmare Locha and a 5-star in the future, a limited 5-star in the future, maybe in the Fate collab or whatnot. I mean, yeah, that's pretty cool, but in my opinion, it doesn't really address the current problems that the player base has been expressing since the start of 3.0. So let me just address the elephant in the room in the stream, which was Casteris global buff. So Casteris' global buff basically, if you haven't heard, gives a free revive in like literally anywhere to any team, regardless if she's on the team or not. Meaning that, I don't know if you play, I don't even know if it's viable in endgame, but yeah, sure, if you're playing Memory of Chaos and you die with the team without Casteris, your whole team will be revived. And inherently, this is a pretty interesting thing, but it is a very bad precedent to set for the game, because what this does is allows in the future updates for possibilities like permanent crit damage, permanent crit rate, permanent speed, defense, attack, you name it. It might be a passive global buff on a character. Now, the reason this is bad is just it sets this thing where like people will have to pull for certain characters, insane power creep, and it'll only happen to the newer characters. It'll also become more sort of pay to win and moreover incentivize players to pull for characters that maybe they don't want just because they're meta, and it already is a problem currently. For example, the current 3.0 characters have been power creeping a lot of the old characters, which brings me to the next point, being power creep. The current road that Honkai Star Rail has been traveling along regarding power creep is just very unfortunate. The endgame modes and boss fights are just getting harder and harder, less intuitive compared to the start where we actually had to like pick our elements, pick our paths, and strategize our team. Rather now, it's just pick the most overpowered character and clear the stage. And what that incentivizes is making more people, you know, meta slaves and just pulling for characters that are good for the time frame and then get power creep later on, and then players will have to be pulling for newer characters. And it's just endless loop of power creep and, in my opinion, greed. Now, regarding the character buffs, in the stream they did say that they were going to buff older characters. I believe it was Jingleo, Kafka, Silverwolf, and Blade, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, that is a good thing and we should start doing that more. But low-key, this is just like a handful of characters, and the reason why I'm not very happy with it is because the update is in 3.4, which we'll have to wait for basically 3.2, 3.3, and 3.4 to finally reach it, which is, you could argue, like 3 patches, which is a pretty long time. I'm pretty sure it's like 100 days. I mean, yeah, just in the current state that Honkai Star Rail right now is, it is pretty sad. I mean, Honkai Star Rail has been dry in 3.0 and 3.1 in my opinion. It's just been the same thing, and I don't think they've been innovating enough to make the game, you know, more fun to play. So with that, I would like to also talk about the story. So in this live stream, they also did say that they are going to be improving the story, but again, I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen in the 3.4 update. I could be mistaken. I really don't know the exact dates because low-key, the live stream was just a bunch of yap, and I'm just not in for that. Plus, it's also in Chinese. I mean, yeah, it was just hard to listen to. So the story, they did promise that more animations would be going into the story, like the character trailers. I believe they did say that they were adding the Casteris one, which, hell yeah, that would be good, because Loki, I really do like Casteris, but with her global buff, yeah, I mean, kind of sucks. But I guess maybe the story, I'm not sure if they're revamping this story, but I'm pretty sure they said they're gonna revamp the next stories, which will be good. But I'm just upset because the way that Honkai Star Rail right now is, it's in a very fragile state, and it's just been very dry recently. The story has been not that great. I played the 3.0 story, and the 3.1 story I haven't even touched because I'll just, like, I'm not even excited for the story, if I'm being honest. It's just boring. I remember in the 3.0 update that they had like black screens with text, same 5 poses for all the characters. They had like barely any cutscenes, and if they did have cutscenes, it was like low-key 20 seconds maybe. Like, there was one hype cutscene, but at the end of the day, if it's just 20 seconds out of like a 10-hour story, it just sucks and it's just not fun to play. And the next point I'll be covering is that, in my opinion, the events have been very lackluster. There was just like very little innovations, and it's just been a bunch of filler content. Like the past 2 updates, I believe the main update was in 3.0, just a bunch of puzzles which I finished in 20 seconds, and this like matching game with dogs, which I just followed an online guide because low-key didn't want to play that. And now in 3.2, we're getting this bumper car seal game that I'd probably see in Genshin Impact, and at the end of the day, I'm not really excited for that. I did like the past events though, like for example the Pokemon one, or even the ghost hunting. That wasn't even bad. Maybe even like the war dance one. They were just much better in the past, and I think they're going in the wrong direction with a bunch of these simpler events. Sure, you could complete it in like 20 minutes, but I kind of want to play the game since it's been a while since I've actually enjoyed Honkai Star Rail. And to have all of this during an anniversary event, I mean, it kind of sucks. Like, I'm seeing very little major improvements in the game currently, and I don't want to wait for 3.4. That's just like in a long time. 100 days, sure, you can call me impatient, but you know, I've been waiting for a long time to enjoy the game, and if the game's gonna be dry for what, four straight patches, I mean, that just can't be healthy. A lot of the community has been expressing their feelings for the game, and for example the Castery's global buff, where people just think it sets a bad precedent for the future of the game, and yeah, it does. Honkai Star Rail in the stream, however, barely even covered it. I think they said like 2 sentences and then just moved on like it was nothing. But no, this is a very major thing, as it's a permanent change to the gameplay. I mean, yes, sure, it is a single player game, but it's live service, which means there's going to be power creep, there's going to be more incentives to pull new characters, and it's just a greedy, predatory system. And it does make it less fun because you'll just be having to, you know, be forced playing newer characters, and the old characters, yeah, sure, they will get some buffs, but at this point I'm not even sure if Honkai Star will make the buffs even good. And even though they get buffed, the content has just been getting harder and harder and harder. Like, I used to be doing MOC 12 clearing, full pure fiction and all that, but now, I mean, I've just actually started losing some of the last levels just because how much HP, defense, and just stats the enemy has. It's just gotten harder, it's gotten less fun, it's gotten less intuitive and strategic. So for, you know, sort of strategy-based game, turn-based strategy game, yeah, it does kind of suck. Sure, it may be single player, but at the end of the day, if the game's not fun, why should you play it? Because, you know, with all these power creep, like lackluster game innovations, it's just not a good state for Honkai Star Rail. Even in the latest, the Divergent Universe, like the day-night cycle thing, yeah, it was pretty cool, but I kind of forgot about it after the first cycle. Like, the gameplay's still the same, 13 layers, whatnot, just go through all the rooms, avoid the combat domains, and just clear it quickly. It's not really fun, it's just the same thing over and over again. I just think that there's barely any innovations. There's some small quality of life changes, of course, which I am grateful for. I'm grateful for the 30 pulls, I'm grateful for, you know, Ron May, free Ron May. For an anniversary event, I really did expect more things to happen, more announcements, more fun things, but we're just getting pretty much the last year's Monopoly events recycled. We're getting literally a recycled, I don't even remember what that event was, like one of the side events, and then we're getting the bumper cars seal game for the main story, or for the main event, and it doesn't look that exciting, especially for the anniversary. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to express my, you know, feelings on the current state of the game, and I really do hope Honkai Star Rail will improve, and I hope they improve faster, because at the point they're going, the game is getting really dry, and I'm really considering taking a break or uninstalling the game entirely. So yeah, thank you for listening to my very personal, opinionated rant. But yeah, if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. Low-key, my channel's dead, but I'm gonna try to revive it, I guess. And yeah, see you guys.